Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. We're looking at Psalms chapter 26, a psalm written by David, and we believe it's probably written when he was having to deal with some very deceitful and ungodly people in his life. Maybe at the time when Absalom was trying to take over the kingdom, he had been lying about his dad. He was spreading slander, and there were many people, even in high places, that were following Absalom, and they would go to worship with David at the tabernacle. And David was grieved in his heart as he went to the place of worship, and it was filled with hypocritical, lying, deceitful sinners who were spreading lies, who were taking bribes, as you read in this chapter, and who would even murder those who stood in their way. And you see this even in this chapter as David identifies them. Now, three things I noticed that David asks of the Lord as he deals with this situation where his heart is grieved. He's doing his best to live for the Lord and to please him and to worship him with all of his heart. And maybe you are. Maybe you're walking in the ways of God and you're trying to do those things that please him. And I want to remind us of the very first verse in the book of Psalms. Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. And what's interesting when you look in this passage, and that's what really always blesses my heart, is when I see a passage that identifies or compares with another passage, and boy, they say the same thing. So you notice in verse 1 of chapter 1 of Psalms, that he says, I do not walk in the counsel of the ungodly. I don't stand with sinners. I don't sit with the scornful. And in this passage, David says, vindicate me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity. He didn't walk with the counsel of the ungodly. And then he also says, I have not sat with idolatrous mortals, nor will I go in with the hypocrites. He didn't sit with those who were against God. And then he also says in verse 12, my foot stands in an even place, in some versions at level place. And I have written in my Bible, the level place is the foot of the cross. The ground is level at the foot of the cross. There's no one better than anyone else at the foot of the cross. We're all sinners. We all need grace. We all need mercy. And that's why David prays, redeem me and be merciful to me in verse 11. Oh, this is a wonderful passage, and David prays basically for three things. He says in verse 1, vindicate me, O Lord. He's asking God, give me justice. You defend my reputation. Oh, God is so able to defend his reputation in our lives when people try to tear us down, say bad things about us. When David said, I have walked in my integrity, he was not a self-righteous man bragging on how good he was. He knew that he had a heart of repentance. When David was confronted with his sin of adultery and murder, he repented with a broken heart. Read Psalm 51. When King Saul was confronted with his sins, he made excuses. He blamed other people. That's a major difference. You can be a person of integrity even though you're a person who has fallen and has done wrong and has sinned against the Lord. The Lord will forgive you. He will cleanse you. He will wash you. He'll make you new every day through his blood as we come to the cross, the even place. Come to the cross of Jesus Christ. So he prayed, vindicate me. He prayed, examine me, O Lord. Even though David had a heart of integrity, a heart that sought after the Lord, he knew that he wanted to make sure it was clean as could be. God, you examine me. Don't compare yourself to others to see how righteous you are. Ask God to examine you, and through his word, like a mirror, it will reveal to you exactly what inside of you needs to be taken care of and confessed. And then he prayed in verse 11, and redeem me, buy me back, pay the price. Oh Lord, put me back in the place where I will worship you with all of my heart. Redeem me and have mercy for me, because that's the place we find forgiveness of sins and cleansing. Oh, what a wonderful chapter. I pray you'll read it through and you'll cry out, vindicate me, God. I'm walking in my integrity. I'm walking right. I'm trusting you. I'm living a life of faithfulness. And God, examine me every day, and Lord, redeem me. Oh, set me free from my sins and let me be that person you want me to be. Well, God bless you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.